and welcome to Unfiltered, the big interview. My name is Otega OGRA, and today we're joined by Dr. Dayo Mobereola, the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, the agency for regulating Nigeria's maritime space, advancing the blue economy, and enforcing international standards across our waters. With Nigeria's strategic position in the Gulf of Guinea and a vast coastline, the maritime sector holds immense potential for economic growth and diversification, from ensuring maritime security, promoting indigenous participation, to aligning with international regulations and fostering sustainable practices. Dr. Mobereola's leadership comes at a very, very critical time for our dear nation, Nigeria. Today, we're going to go into his vision, what strategies are working, the challenges that they are currently facing, and how he intends to retool NIMASA to play as a big player under the Ministry for Maritime and Blue Economy in the global space. Thank you very much, Dr. Mobereola.
Thank you for having me.
I think at this point, let me first say congratulations on your appointment as DG. As you spent a few months in this critical role, I would like to ask, what is your driving vision for NIMASA, and what are your immediate priorities, your focus on how to transform the Nigeria's maritime space?
Thank you for the important question. I may want to say that haven't been 1 year.
Oh, interesting.
in position. I've had the opportunity, backed with my various experience, both local and international, to be able to understand how the Nigerian maritime space works and what needs to be done. You raised the first question by saying, what is my vision? When I came in, the initial vision for the agency is to become the leading maritime authority. And I looked at it, and I looked at the potential that Nigeria has. And I brought together all the team, and I told them that we need to look beyond Africa. We should be one of the leading maritime nations in the world. And everybody agreed, and that is what we want to work towards. The next question is the strategy. How do I now want to get there?
Yeah.
How does the team want to get there? How does the members and the stakeholders want to get there? Right. The first thing is we want to be sure we have in place the national and international instruments, which is called legal backing, i.e. Graciously, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, last year signed 6 instruments, meaning giving us to be comparable with any international nation in the world. That has never been done in the last 20 years. And he signed it automatically at once. And these instruments, we have delivered it. The Honorable Minister for Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Alhaji Boyega Oyetola, delivered it to the Secretary General of IMO. So those are the kind of things that to say, yes, we want to compete at the international levels. Now, the second part of it is that there had been some regulations that had been untouched in so many years. And we've picked those regulations up, and now we want to domesticate them so that our indigenous shipping companies, other stakeholders, we have the legal backing to be able to operate within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. And how do we do this? So far, we have 55 regulations to domesticate.
55.
Federal Ministry of Justice, I must give commendation to them. they have been very supportive. And they actually said this is the first time in the history of Nigeria that they will be treating 55 conventions.
Wow.
But I give it to them. They have given us good support. In fact, by the end of this month, May, 40 of them will be gazetted.
You said you had 55 upon coming in, and I know you've just been here a year and a couple of months.
Yes.
And as we speak today, and for the benefit of the viewers, this is when May 2025.
Yes.
40 are ready to be gazetted.
Yes.
That's pretty impressive. Sorry, I just had to,
Well, for us, it's not a commendation, because it's a need that ought to have been done. And at this point, I have to say that the support of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy is so crucial to us getting to where we are now, is ensuring that we domesticate all these regulations. Because if you want to play at the international level, you just have to be able to show that you are one of them. You have complied with the instruments, you have complied with the regulations, you understand what they are, and you know how to implement them. So if all of those things are not there, you just cannot be a player in that area, So that is what we are setting up for us to do. And God willing, we have achieved quite a lot. And we are sure that before the end of this year, we would be recognized as a national maritime nation, which is what the international maritime nations have been looking at and wanting Nigeria to be. But we have now shown our ability and capacity to do it. And we have met various stakeholders, both locally, internationally, shipowners internationally, insurance company internationally, name them, all of them. We have been talking to them. We have been talking to them and telling them the things that we would need in Nigeria. A classic example is the fact that Nigeria territorial water had been at peace for the past 3 years. There had been no single piracy. And this is recorded at the International Maritime Bureau of London, as well as Lloyd's Shipping Registry of London.
So you're saying 3 years? Because I remember, I think it was in 2021 or so, the Gulf of Guinea was one of the most pirated, shipping lanes in the world.
Yes.
And as a result, there was high premium, insurance premium on Nigerian ships coming to Nigeria or transiting through that route.
Yes.
And now you're telling me that in the last 3 years, we've had 0 incidences of piracy
in the Nigerian territorial water.
Why?
Because the government has deployed a very strategic program, which is called the Blue Project. Now, what that does is that we understand that 2 things are necessary. Number 1 is intelligence, and number 2 is enforcement. So what the government has done is that they have given us the capacity to acquire those equipments that are required. Now, if a vessel is coming from the US, UK, from our base here in Lagos, we would know the vessel that is coming to Nigeria. And we would know the characteristics of that vessel. And we'll be able to tell whether that vessel has good intention or not through profiling that we would have done with our system. And if we suspect anything of those vessels, we hand it over to the Navy. Because, as you know, we are just a maritime administration and safety concern, so we don't carry arms. But with the combination of the Navy, the Air Force, DSS, and NDLEA, all of them are working with us. Right now, we have over 1,000 naval officers within our command. We have 2 commodores supervised by a rear admiral under NIMASA.
So what NIMASA is, what I'm hearing you say is NIMASA is coordinating an interagency, team.
Yes.
On this. So that means even before a ship leaves the port of origin,
yes,
you start your profiling.
Very much so. Very much so. And where we suspect that this vessel is may or have a record of a dicey record or dubious record, we would notify the Navy or the Air Force. And so by the time the vessel is coming into our territorial water, they would accost the vessel and inspect and make sure that all the documentation or the goods on the vessel is correct and it has paperwork. If everything is clear, off it goes. It comes into our territorial water berth and do its business and goes. So I'm sure you are fully aware that anything that needs to be done with security is much importantly the issue of intelligence first. Yes. And that is what we have. Now, going beyond the issue of collaboration, maybe it's good for me to say it here, is that as we have what is called intelligence unit called C4I, the Navy also have Falcon I. Now, what the Minister of Navy has done is that we should not operate in isolation. So we are now coming up with an MOU whereby we exchange data
and integrate data
and integrate integration, so that what information we may be missing, if they have it, they pass it on to us. What information that we are missing on, we pass it on to them, and that in itself will help both of us to be able to secure the maritime space much better than we do right now. To add to that is the fact that the Gulf of Guinea, the other countries were about 26 that forms the Gulf of Guinea, they have now come to Nigeria and come to us and said, we need help. We need help. We need help. So we, together with the security agencies, are now putting in place structures. We have been helping on a smaller scale, but now we are putting in place a proper MOU that would allow us to ensure that we have a legal backing for us to assist them and also share intelligence report, and they, on the other side, would all be able to give us same when required. So it's a very good collaboration, very good plan, which will drive the security of the region. And why I'm saying this is that whenever we go abroad, especially International Maritime Organization and the World Shipping Association, the World Insurance Association. Now, let me give you a small example. You bought a vessel for $200 million. And then this vessel is carrying cargo worth $500 million. That is almost $700 million cargo moving. And this vessel is coming to your territory. Believe me, if they don't feel that territory is secured, palpitation, hypertension, or whatever would come in. He disqualified that you should.
And that is actually the question I was coming to when you're talking about this. Because I know, like I mentioned earlier, the war risk insurance premium on vessels coming to Nigeria has gone pretty up. With this with your C4I and your integration and everything you're doing, as you just mentioned, are we looking at it coming down anytime soon?
Yes. And we have started, first of all, let me say it's totally unfair that we are paying that high risk premium. That high risk premium is equitable to what Sudan, Somalia are paying when there is peace in our region. There is no piracy.
Zero piracy.
Zero piracy. And then yet, we are paying the same premium as Sudan and Somalia. It's not reasonable. So we have, in the last 6 to 8 months, that's one of our core mandates, especially coming from the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, that we must get it down. Now, so we are discussing with the International Ship Owners Association, International Insurance Association. We are also talking to Chatham House, London, who have also agreed that all of this needs to be looked into. I'll give you one caveat. And this is what the question they've been asking us. That we've done well for the past 3 years, but what is our sustainable mechanism to ensure that
this stays into the future?
Into the future. And I must be honest by saying that my minister has been working with me in the last 1 year, and every time what is asking and what is suggesting and what is contributing towards is to ensure we put in place a strategy that would ensure that sustainability is a key and is continuous. And we have been putting that in place, and to the point that at some point, we are going to start using more technology. We are going to start using, we are going to expand in terms of assets that we are providing for all the enforcement and also for intelligence as well. So between the agency and the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, especially under the leadership of His Excellency, there is that synergy of ensuring and making sure that we turn the maritime space into economic driver for diversification of the economy for Nigeria. And the potential is there, and all we are just doing now is ensuring that we lay the ground rules for it to happen. And I will also say to it that part of it is that Federal Executive Council yesterday passed the maritime policy for Nigeria for the next 10 years. You see, these are the things the minister and all the agencies have been working on with the next combination of other stakeholders in order for us to have a tunnel view of what we are supposed to do and how to do it. And with this plan for the next 10 years, believe me, we are going to turn Nigeria into a better nation with more resources. And this thing is not impossible. And I'll give you some examples of the potential that we can easily achieve that is there, but untapped. When you talk of Philippines repatriate $11.6 billion annually back to Philippines
From
from
the maritime sector.
from marine and maritime activities.
Wow.
They have the largest number of seafarers in all throughout the world. And the question is, if Philippines can do it, why can't Nigeria do it? We have teeming youths, well-educated, hardworking, and that is why we developed a scheme called National Development Program for Seafarers, whereby we want to train seafarers and get them to be able to go and compete internationally, and then they will repatriate their revenue, their income back to the nation.
Nigeria.
Now, that is one example I gave. Vietnam, the marine and blue economy, contribute 37% to their GDP.
37%.
To the GDP of Vietnam. China, the marine and blue economy, contribute $1.11 trillion to the marine and blue economy. Now, that is one. Let us even forget of the economic gains. The other aspect that you might start thinking about is employment. Employment for youths. Right. There are also other areas. There is tourism. You know, I'm sure you and I, when we go abroad, we go to the seashores or we go on a boat ride with all of these things. These are the things that we have the capacity to do here in Nigeria. These are the things that we need to develop. Tourism, water tourism, and all of that. So the potential is huge. Another area that has been totally untapped is underwater mining.
So I think I'll tell you to put a pause there because if you continue talking at this point, you know, I won't even be able to remember some of the things you said to ask questions on it. What I'm hearing you say is the days of looking at NIMASA as a single focused siloed agency is over. What I'm saying from what you're saying is you're not only looking across sectors, you're looking at human resources, you're looking at security, you're looking at trades, you're looking at tourism, and then you're bringing all these things, all these nodes together and saying, how can you support the ecosystem through this agency? And that's very impressive. And I like how you're breaking it down with, you know, examples so that we can see that this is not rocket science. No one has just taken the time to put in, you know, the processes, the systems, and have the political will to get it done. And that's why I like the relationship that I'm hearing you say you have with the Minister and Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. All the things you said does not still change the fact that shipping, global shipping, is highly capital intensive. Extremely. And also dominated by foreign entities. And you just said that when you said, see, Philippines has the highest number of wayfarers. See the money China is bringing in. They're leveraging because these are two highly populated countries, they're leveraging their population, their policies to drive, improved investments, trades, and money coming into their country through this sector. How? I know recently, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, the minister, Alhaji Adeboyega Itola, put out a tweet announcing the CVFF. And I'm thinking, how does this play into what you have said? Because we can have the people. Yes, they can operate internationally, they can operate on other foreign flagged vessels, but we might not have the assets to drive trade. So how does the CVFF, what role does it have to play in this, or what other specific initiatives does NIMASA have to empower Nigerians, both as individuals and businesses, and to actively participate and invest in this sector?
Thank you. But before I answer your question, I would like to make mention of a fact that every successful project has to have a very, very strong political backing. And in this respect, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has given the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, as well as NIMASA, that total, undiluted, committed political power and backing to go and exploit and make success of the economic diversification that is required. That is exactly what is driving us. I'll tell you.
So you can have the best laid plans, but without the right political will, nothing moves.
Yeah. And the reason is now going to the question you asked. CVFF has been in place for the past 20 years. But it has not been tapped. It has not been used. Reason being, there was no political will to do it. So now that we have the political will, we have decided that we, by the end of this year, God willing, we will start dispersing. And the benefit of that are two. Number one, they have the benefit of trading at the cabotage area, meaning the coastal areas, moving of crude oil from the refineries to the port, moving of export goods to the port. And this trade alone required nothing less than 5,000 vessels.
For Nigeria?
For Nigeria.
Just for Nigeria alone?
Just for Nigeria alone.
Per annum?
Per annum.
So that's huge. That's huge.
That's a big. And like you mentioned, this business is actually being dominated by foreigners. Now we want to take ownership of it. We want to take ownership. And the way we can take ownership of it is giving access to of low capital to our indigenous shipping companies and then allow them to compete. So that is a very good one that we are sure would achieve this year. And when you look at it, the ripple effect of that is that it creates employment for Nigerians, right? It creates employment for seafarers. The dock workers are going to just be in thousands. And the chandlers, the people that supplies food, ship repairs, minor ship repairs here and there, all those local artisan jobs, they have thousands that would be easily employed. So if we can develop our national indigenous shipping alone, I can tell you for a fact that the benefit would be much more than what we are talking about that.
Because of the ripple effects.
It's a chain of events that will continually affect every human being, every Nigerian, in every area of production. You know, one area we haven't spoken about, which is the cost of freight.
Yes.
So the cost of freight actually attributes to about 30% of the cost of production and manufacturing and moving goods from one end to the other. But if we can reduce the cost of operation so much because we are giving a low capital interest, and then they are employing Nigerian seafarers, but on a competitive rate. So I don't want anybody to imagine that our seafarers are going to be cheaper than global seafarers. No. We have signed a law and a regulation that our seafarers are going to be earning the same as anywhere in the world. So that stands. But the good thing about that is that at least they will be employed here in Nigeria. Then they can operate within our environment, which they are very used to, which they know very well, and feel comfortable and earn good, reasonable money in dollars. That is it.
But to become a seafarer, what would I need to do? Do you have the training schools and facilities within the country, or do we have to send our people outside there to get trained before?
Thank you for that question. We have Maritime Academy of Nigeria, Oron. We call it in short MANORON, which over time, this is an academy that has been created over 30 years ago to train seafarers. And according to the NIMASA Act, we have been supporting them on an annual basis to train seafarers. Now, the bit that is now lacking, now the categories of seafarers, I will tell you. One is classroom teaching, lectures, and all of that. Then after that, the second part of it is sea time. What you have learned in the classroom, you also now have to demonstrate it on the sea before you get qualified, And then after, when you've done the sea time for 18 months, you now come back out again and study for another 4 months and then do another exam to qualify you as a competent seafarer. Now, the challenge we have been having here in Nigeria is that we do not have enough shipping companies that can take on board the cadets and teach them for that much.
So now I see how it works. So the CVFF enables the shipping companies to buy vessels and provides opportunities for the students to actually learn on the sea.
Yes. But I will also take the opportunity to credit LLNG shipping because within this short gap, they have been training cadets from MANORON, Maritime Academy of Nigeria, and they take them on board, they train them, and then they come back to us. We give them another 4 months of classroom lectures, and then they are certified, and then they can go anywhere in the world to operate. But we encourage them to stay in Nigeria as usual. So, but with the CVFF, he will give us more opportunity to train more. Right now, we have trained about 2,760 seafarers, but we want to train. My aim is to train on an annual basis. If we can achieve it, nothing less than 40,000 or 50,000 seafarers. And imagine how taking that away from the unemployed teeming youths of Nigeria who are looking for a job, who are dedicated, who are willing to learn, and give them a profession that will take them from a Class A seafarer to become a sea captain. And that's a life ambition for most of these guys.
Thank you very much, DG. I've heard what you said, and I'm short of words. But I want us to move a little bit from what we've been talking now to talk about the laws, the regulations, compliance, and port security, because that's also very, very critical.
Of course.
You had mentioned earlier that we are domesticating a lot of the international maritime regulations that we have, and you mentioned the number. The International Ship and Ports Facility Security Code, we all know how important that is to us. Some years back, we had to concession some of our ports, and they said that will help reduce a lot of the security incidences that we have. How would you, from your vantage points, how would you assess the current implementation of that code, by Nigeria? And what other measures are we expected to take to ensure compliance and security across our ports?
Well, it is very good to not assess yourself, but allow other people to assess you. So it will be like you are blowing your trumpet.
But this is important because this is a platform for the presidency where we ask ourselves the hard questions, no matter how hard they are.
Indeed. I'm going there. The reason why I started from there is that the U.S. Coast Guard came to Nigeria about a month ago, and they went on inspection of all our ports, jetties, and critical installations in Nigeria. And they came back and said that that Nigerian ports, jetties, creeks, and everything that they inspected have given them a summary to say that Nigeria inland waterways, coastal waterways, is now one of the safest in the whole world.
And this was by the U.S. Coast Guard?
This is by the U.S. Coast Guard. And if a U.S. Coast Guard can give you
that vote of confidence,
that recommendation, take it to sleep, believe me. And again, the next thing they said after that is that they have been coming and they have seen improvements. And right now they can say we are one of the best in the world. And the next thing was, please try to maintain it. Okay. Which again goes back to our sustainability here. And we know, and I'm confident that with the government that we have today, with the president we have, and the most focused Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, we are just going to sustain it. And once we put a mechanism in place for sustainability, even next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, this thing will just be running on autopilot. And that is why we are sure that we will get there. And we will turn Nigeria around using marine and blue economy to make Nigeria a greater country than it is today.
Let me go back to our principal, the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his renewed hope agenda. It shocked everyone when he created a new ministry and named it Marine and Blue Economy. I had so many people asking on social media, what does this mean? What is this man doing? What does blue economy mean? And luckily today, a lot of people have more clarity and can see the reasons why he did that. But what it actually taught me was that economic diversification, can happen under this space. What specific roles or what roles does NIMASA play in unlocking Nigeria's blue economy potential? And are there any initiatives that are underway to explore opportunities in areas like marine biotechnology, fishing, coastal tourism, or like you said earlier in our conversation, undersea mining?
Yes, thank you very much. When you look at the person himself, meaning the president, you would know that he is someone that is, in his mind, he explores and he identifies potentials. So I wasn't surprised that he created the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. He knows fully well that Nigeria is at a stage where economic diversification is the best way to go, right? And which other area can that be? Is marine and blue economy. Now, talking of marine and blue economy in itself is potential. The world as it is today, 71% of the world today is covered by water. We only live on 29%. And out of that 29%, don't forget that I have forests,
yes,
Amazon forests, and all of those forests everywhere that we can is inhabitable for us. So we can't even aggregate that much piece of land the whole world is living in. That's one aspect. The second aspect is you now want to consider and look at what is under the seawater. And I can tell you the studies that have been done by so many United Nations organizations everywhere have determined that the best minerals are undersea waters. Cobalt, magnesium, lithium, all the best that can be used are under the water. And the difference here is this. Before you drill, from drilling and evacuation on land of any mineral takes nothing less than 15 years. Undersea water, by definition, by when you identify it and you excavate it, is 6 years.
A difference of 9 years.
Difference of 9 years. And yet it's been left untapped. And the resources there is so much that in terms of cost, you don't need to drill from one end of a hill to the other side and all of those things. You know, these things are there, soft and all of that. But in the process, we also have to be mindful of the environmental ecosystem in the water system, because they provide us with food and they provide us with medicine, they provide us with the air that we breathe, so all of that. So we cannot disrupt it, but when we want to do mining in that area, it can be managed in such a way that it will not disrupt the system so much as doing it on land. And the potential is so huge and so much that is even unquantifiable. The problem we just have is we have not started exploring it. That is number one. Number two, let me now be specific to Nigeria. And I'm sure when you see my minister, I will always make reference to this. The best prawns in the world, the biggest prawns that are eaten anywhere in the world. I'm now trying to be political. They are in Nigeria waters.
I don't doubt you, sir, because I read something like this in an international publication a couple of years back. And it's for the first time I saw how huge that space was. Mm-hmm. I never knew before until I read that document. So I don't doubt this is your political, non-political statement.
Exactly. Exactly. So it's just a matter of putting in place the right strategies, the right plan, and ensure that the licenses are given to the right people. And then they would do the needful and pay the government the royalties that is entitled to. And that would be serious addition to the revenue the government of Nigeria will be earning. And so it is, and some of even the best fishes that we talk about. When you talk of cod, you think the only place that cod is Norway. And I'm not sure whether, I'm sure we all eat panla and all of that. You know, we import panla in Norway. Well, they've been doing it for the past 40, 50 years.
I should even stockfish.
That's panla now.
Yes.
Stockfish panla. They give it all manners of names. Stockfish panla.
Cod, Arian.
And then we are the one that buy it here. And it's cod. And we have cod in Nigerian waters. We have cod in Nigerian waters. So it's just a matter of being focused with strategies, with visions and plans and implementation. We would benefit and we would be feeding the whole world without any problems. Honest. So the potential is huge and is there. And I think that is what Mr. President saw. And this is what is also driving the minister and saying, these potentials, we must get to it. But the first one, and the major one, is trade. Majority of international trade are done on the maritime by vessels going from one country to the other. And Nigeria imports, Nigeria exports, but unfortunately what we do not do is participate in that shipping trade. And this is where the CVFF is coming in. That we need to participate in a trade that is coming in and going out of our country. And if we're doing that, we are conserving foreign exchange, we are giving employment to Nigerians, and we are also having the opportunity to tap into neighboring countries. So it's a huge opportunity for Nigeria. So, and that is why it is important that we all come together. And I appreciate the Honorable Minister for driving the maritime policy that was now approved by FEC. So there is a direction now. There is a direction.
Everybody just keys up.
Everybody just needs to key into it. And that is the key, and that's the way to go. Because without direction, there'll be no vision, mission, and of course, most importantly, there'll be no governance. And governance of the sea is the most important thing for us to take care of our natural resources, for us to exploit it, for us to make benefit of it, to the benefit of our country and our people. That is it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dayo Mobereola. And now I want to throw you a curveball, and I'll tell you why. You know, there's this saying that says, if you are not at the table, then you're definitely on the menu.
Yes.
And with everything you've said, it looks like for the first time in Nigeria's history, there is a holistic approach to managing our maritime space. But when the big players are developing regulations for that space, we are not there. And when I mean we are not there, I mean on the Council of the International Maritime Organization. You know, are we looking to be there? Are we working towards that? And if we are, you know, what strategies are being employed to strengthen our influence and compliance within the international maritime community?
Thank you very much for that important question. And this is a question and a policy I'll call it, and the mandate that has been given by Mr. President to the minister, and it has been dovetailed to Nigerian Maritime Authority, NIMASA, as well as other agencies, sister agencies. So the last time that Nigeria participated in that council was 2009.
Sorry, 14
years.
14 years ago.
Yes.
Wow.
That is the last time we sat on the council.
Actually, 16 years ago.
16 years ago, yes.
Wow.
That was the last time we sat on the council. Now, without being a member of the council, you cannot be able to speak for your country. You cannot be able to speak for your region. You cannot be able to speak for your continent. So it is important and totally imperative that Nigeria is on that council. And that is the mandate we have been given. So by November, December this year, we will be contesting. And we have made our intention known to all the maritime nations of the world. And with the permission of the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as well as the driver, in this case, His Excellency Dayo Mobereola, we have started what we called shuttle diplomacy. And we are going to intensify from next month, where we would touch all the main key countries and sought for their support so that we can win that election. The prognosis is looking very good, because where we have, we started this campaign October, November last year, and the feedback is always, yes, everybody has been looking for Nigeria. We have had 3 attempts, which was not successful. And the reason was that we always start late. But this time the strategy is different. We started a year, almost 6 months ago. But even at that, it's been classified as being late, but we are catching up. And in so doing, the feedback we are getting is, yes, you are supposed to be there. You are the one that did not show interest. Now that you are showing interest, it is important, and we will support you, and we will ensure that you get it. Because in the IMO conference, we are very vocal. In fact, Nigeria, in the IMO conference, there is a group called African Nation Association or whatever. We lead it.
Yes, we are not the council.
I know, we are not the council.
So you're like, an advocacy group.
Yeah, we have caucuses. The Asians have their own. So the African caucus.
We are the head.
We are the head. If we don't speak, nobody speaks. So that is one of the reasons why we must be at the council. And I can tell you for free that we are getting all the political support to be there. And the light at the end of the tunnel is indicating that we will, by God's grace, win it this time around.
Thank you very much. This has been highly educating, informative, and eye-opening. I doubt there will be anyone that would have listened to everything you've said and wouldn't have been richly blessed by this. I, for instance, am now more confident in this space.
Thank you.
And for the first time, despite all the reading I've gone to do, I can clearly see why Mr. President had to emphasize that new name of the ministry, and I can see how the ministry is playing its role in pushing the agencies under it, to achieve that renewed hope for the maritime sector. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on various occasions has called on local and international players to take a bet on Nigeria. He has put himself on the front line ahead of his troops. He visits different countries. He's saying, let me do the hard work. Let's do the surgery, most of which has been done. And we're beginning to see the tide turning. And hearing you today, I'm basically saying, is it time for people, local and international, to take a bet on the Nigerian maritime industry? What is your charge to Nigerians on that?
The truth about that is that the train is about to leave the station.
Or the ship is about to leave the port.
Or the ship is about to leave the port. And when it does, it's only those who are in the ship that will benefit. So it's important for our stakeholders to double their efforts and believe that they will benefit more if they work together with the intention of the government. One, we are not also looking at our stakeholders alone. We are looking for new entrants. We are looking at investors who can come and play in this sector. This sector is now well defined. There is no ambiguity, especially, like I said, the policy that was passed yesterday. It gives clear direction of where Nigeria wants to go and how it wants to get there. And most importantly, we are also playing and committed to making use of innovation and technology. So human interaction will be somewhat limited. And with such program coming on, it is important that when you are talking of economic diversity, when you are talking of new areas for you to look at and to move into, it is none other than marine and blue economy. Believe me, the potential there is just too much, too huge. We are just scratching the surface. And if we get it right, it is just one that anybody can pick any part of that sector and make it so big, so wide, so much that you'll be international competitor with any well-known country or conglomerate in the world. It is a direction that nobody should blink. Nobody should think is the hunch. Just go for it, and you will not be wrong. It's a success. Believe me.
Has it been challenging? And what are the challenges you face the most?
It has been challenging. Anything that is not challenging is not a good prospect. It has been challenging in the area of the fact that there was no comprehensive policy, which is why I give credit to the Honorable Minister that we must have a policy, and I totally agree with it, and we have put in place a good policy that will drive the governance. And now every stakeholders in the sector now knows what the policies are and which area they want to play and how they can get into it. So that's the first one. The second one is also the aspiration or the motivation of the staff. You can't do it alone. You need the staff, and I must give it to them. They are well educated, well placed, and willing to work. It's just a matter of ensuring that there is that cohesion for us to follow that direction and vision that we want to achieve. And I'm sure we'll get there very soon. The other one is because shipping and maritime in totality is capital intensive. And I do not think that the financial sector in Nigeria, i.e. the banks, so much understand
What it takes.
and how to get in and play the game. They do not see what other countries are saying, that the vessel itself is an asset that you can lend against. And once you lend against it, you put a lien on it, and anywhere in the world, that vessel cannot, it's your asset. It's an asset that has a lien, because we have international asset records that knows that nothing else can happen to that vessel unless you discharge it, the lien on it. So it's taking a bit of time to get the local financial institution. And I must say that we have been able to bring some of them on board. We have at least 12 of them now who also want to participate in this cabotage fund for financial vessels to be released. They are going to contribute about 35%. The borrower is going to contribute 15%. NIMASA will contribute 50% to make it 100%, and then we can be able to lend out on a single digits loan to allow them the benefit of competition and creating employment for the sector. So it's getting everybody around the table has been challenging, but now that we are all understanding ourselves and understanding the vision being driven by the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, and then most importantly by Mr. President, we now know that we are all moving towards one direction, one success area that we know we can get to. And with that, believe me, success is written all over it. And most importantly, if we agree that perfection is the enemy of good, then let's start small. Let's start moving gradually. We will get there. And the person that would gain most is the people who get in at the earliest stage. If they get in now, they'll benefit more. And that is what we are looking for. So that we'll be able to leave a legacy. The president will leave a good legacy. The minister and myself in a small time, I'm going to be here. And that legacy would outrun all of us and make Nigeria a better place to live in.
As we were just asking, I was trying to find out, have you always been at NIMASA?
No, not at all. My story is actually a bit different. I'm a transport professional. And in transport, you learn all area of transportation, shipping, aviation, road transport as your first degree. And then further that, you go and, if you wish, develop your specialization. So I developed my specialization in the area of maritime. And I was working in maritime, but somewhat, I also play some roles, and I will tell you this. I was one of the think tank that created congestion charges in London. Many Nigerians don't like me for it. Many Nigerians don't like me for it.
Okay.
Under Ken Livingstone and Tony Blair. So we had a team, and then that was one of the solutions we came up, which is working very well up to now. And somewhat, I don't know how, my name got to the ear of the governor of Lagos State then, who happened to be Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu in those days, and now the current president. And he flew to London for some meetings, and then he asked for me, they found me, and then said, well, who are you? I said, I'm a Nigerian. Which state are you from? I said, I'm a Lagosian. You are going to Nigeria to come out, Lagos, to come and solve the problem.
Oh, wow. You were living in London.
I was living in London. I studied and my work was in London. I said, okay. Said, are you going to leave Nigeria as it is? We are suffering. Lagos is suffering, this and that. And so I said, okay, I would come. And he made it very, very easy for me to come. All the things that are necessary for me was provided. And so I came and I started looking at the plans of transport in Lagos. And I was the one that created the first transport plan in Lagos. What needs to be done? 7 rail lines, 8 or 9 BRT lines, waterways to create the integrated transport system for Lagos. You know, Lagos is the only city in the world that doesn't have integrated transport network.
As at that time,
compared to the population that we had. And so I started doing that, and I now created the first bus rapid transit, BRT, in Lagos. And when I was doing it, interestingly, this is where I always make reference to political power. Everybody in Lagos was against. They were against me.
Yep, myself inclusive.
Well, maybe your own I can understand. Where the so-called transport professionals, including the engineers, the professors of universities, I gathered them together and told them what I wanted to do. And it was like, in this Lagos, when the road is not enough for the vehicles, you want to take a whole lane, one lane. The only person that believed in me was the governor there, Governor Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He was the only one. He would sleep and wake up and say, Dayo, are we doing the right thing? He actually called me Mobereola. Mobereola, are you doing the right thing? I said, yes, sir, we are. I said, yes, sir, we are. I said, yes, sir, we are. So by the time we finished, it was the tail end of his administration, second term. And he was so gracious. He said, okay, you know what? We are not going to commission this BRT now. Let it be a commencement of new project for the new governor. So when Governor Fashola was sworn in, he now took the position, and as God would have it, both of them came and they cut the tape, and the next day, the glory of Lagos just in the area of transportation began to change. And everybody said, we didn't know it was like this. People started leaving their cars from Ikorodu. They would leave their cars, they would take the BRT because it's predictable. You know that it pays less. You know that you get to where you are going on time. The buses are comfortable. Everything was good. So we did that, and we got the acknowledgement. I must give it to you. The people, the doubters, eventually came around and said, okay, this is a very good thing. So let's expand to so many areas, and we started thinking about that. Transportation is about integration, right? So now, BRT alone cannot solve the problem of Lagos. Lagos at that time was the only country or the only city that doesn't have a mass mover. So I started thinking, what can we do? What can I do? So we started designing the rail network. And I haven't done that. It was a question of which one do we start with? Because we now have 7 rail lines. One to the red line, the blue line, the green line they're about to build now to Lekki Seaport, Lekki refineries and all of those places. So Governor Fashola also, I must give credit to him, gave the backing, support, and resources and said, okay, let's build the blue line. And I built the blue line. for him and lay the foundation for the red line, and then, of course, the green line. So I've been so much involved. So people see me and said, this guy is a land transport specialist. Whereas my
transportation system specialist.
I'm a transportation system specialist with much experience in maritime. My master's and PhD was actually in maritime, but nobody knew because I didn't practice maritime in Nigeria. So it was after that success and everything went well and everything. So when the governor, the president Tinubu was sworn in, I now said, okay, so where are you now going to play another role? Because you must change the face of things. And he said, I will offer you NIMASA. Go there, make changes, and help develop the maritime sector, because I know it is a catalyst to the economic development of the country. And that is why I found myself here. NIMASA has repositioned itself. NIMASA has energized the agency. The NIMASA has put together all the potentials, and NIMASA is willing and actually championing the diversification in the area of maritime and blue economy. And for that purpose, we wish and we would want our stakeholders, whether all stakeholders, new stakeholders, young and old, male and female, to take a bet on us. And I can assure you, this is a lottery that you will not lose. You would win. It's a lottery that will change your life forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mobereola, for sharing your insights and outlining the strategic leadership and direction for NIMASA under you. Your commitment to enhancing maritime security, promoting local participation, and aligning with international standards is highly commendable. To our viewers, thank you once again for tuning in to Unfiltered, the big interview. Stay with us as we continue to bring you in-depth conversations with the people shaping the governance space and Nigeria's future. Till we meet next time, have a wonderful day.